Editing is a crucial component in the film industry. It is relied upon by filmmakers as much as sound or lighting. But how did we get from here to here? Have filmgoers always been treated to seamless transition, stylistic cuts and various shot types? And how did editing, something we take for granted, assist early filmmakers in discovering the introduction and inclusion of narrative into their films? In 1890, Thomas Edison, known for inventing the light bulb, took another bold step in technological advancement and created the kinetoscope. Primitive to today's standards, this was then a revolutionary piece of equipment, allowing the general public to experience something that would have once been thought of as stuff of witchcraft. The moving picture was born. As groundbreaking as this was, it heralded one problem. Only one person could view the film at a time. This was until two men, the Lumiere brothers, created the first projection device, the cinematograph. Allowing for larger audience, this was seen as a capitalistic dream for studios, and large volumes of films were soon put into production. As you can see, the first recorded films were merely documentations of day-to-day life. In 1895, a film called The Arrival of the Train is produced. The premise is seriously simple, but the gimmick of seeing these moving pictures was enough, however, to draw interest. But very quickly, there was a change of content. Narrative was starting to creep into the mix, but still only using basic skills, having one camera placement and feeling similar to having the best seat in the house at a theatre production. For example, A Trip to the Moon in 1902 by Georges Méliès uses only one shot type, however, was still very advanced for its time by using different scenes and extensive set and costume design. There is also a narrative, but there is still an overwhelming sense that you are sat at a theatre watching a play. Not even 10 years on, a man called Edwin S. Porter created a film called The Great Train Robbery. This was one of the first of its kind, elaborating on techniques discovered so far by including cuts and different scenes to propel its narrative. Most filmmakers in the industry considered this a risk, worried that cuts would confuse audience. But feedback was positive, and slowly filmmakers and studios began to realise the power in cuts to deepen the narrative shown on screen. Another 10 years go by. A film called Birth of a Nation by D.W. Griffith uses one of the first ever close-ups and extreme close-ups. The idea of implementing new artistic and creative ways to convey narrative continued to expand. Very soon, the standard of film editing is recognised and implemented in the majority of films produced. Filmmakers realise the tools and techniques available and make judgments of how to use these to their advantage to aid in telling their story. As the years go by, various ways to utilise the usefulness of editing are discovered and expanded upon. An example of this is the inclusion of extra characters and storylines within the same film. Being able to cut between the 2, 3 or more timelines with the audience being aware that the events are happening at the same time and are narratively connected is one of the many uses of editing strongly used and relied upon still to this day. As technology continuously and rapidly improves and evolves over the years, films become more and more stylistic. There is an introduction of newer and easier to manage equipment. Nowadays, editing software is more readily available than ever to the general public. The introduction of digital editing in the 90s provided a whole new realm of possibility. We have become so advanced, a film can be even recorded on your own mobile phone and edited with a vast choice of apps. Due to the ease of accessibility, anyone can produce their own films with an arsenal of skills ready at their disposal. In the grand scheme of things, film editing is still a relatively new concept, and technology will constantly push what is possible into exciting new eras.